What's up, guys? Do you feel like your sales skills are holding you back from closing those big deals? In this video, we're going to talk about how to hone your skills into becoming a God-tier salesman. The first skill, obviously, as a sales guy that you should really be developing, and again, as sales guys are not born, you're made. You need to be developing these skills consistently throughout your sales career, whether you're just now starting out or you have been in sales for 20, 30 plus years. You still need to be developing these skills. So persuasion being one of the biggest ones as a sales guy that you need to be developing. One of the things that you need to do is you really need to understand your audience. You really need to research their needs, their pain points, really looking into what solutions that you can bring to them with whatever product or service that you guys have to offer. Use those emotional appeals as well. Tap into that emotional drive behind the buyer's decision-making skills, such as the fear of missing out, the desire of gain, or the avoidance of loss. So you really want to hone in on those skills. If you guys are selling a product, show them why this product is better, that if they don't have this product, what things they won't be able to achieve, what capabilities that they won't have. You need to be building credibility. You need to establish trust, showcasing your expertise, using testimonials from other clients that you have, whether that be white papers, whether that be videos that you have shot. If you have, testimonials of your clients, your current clients, your past clients. You also need to be using that relevant data. If you are selling a service, such as us here at Energy Tribe, we're selling a marketing service. You need to use those data points that you have from your previous clients to really showcase your company's expertise. One of the key areas of persuasion is mastering the art of storytelling. You need to be able to craft a story that really relates to your potential client on your discovery call. Do that research so that you can cater that story to them. You're able to pull a lot of information before you're even able to hop on a discovery call from your potential client, whether that be going on their website, whether that be doing a little bit of digging as to what they do, what their capabilities are, what products or services they have to offer that you can benefit. You really need to be able to tie all those things together and tell them a story that they can relate to. Because if they understand what products and services you have to offer and they really understand the story that you're trying to tell, you have a way higher likelihood of signing that deal in the future. One of those key things in persuasion is also focusing on those benefits, not just the features. If you're focusing too much on the things that your product or service can do and not showing them the benefits of it, as a marketing team, obviously it's really easy for us to show the benefits because we have the data that goes behind it. We have different services that we have to offer that we can show that data, because on a day-to-day basis, we are doing things that are constantly improving data, whether that be for our clients, whether that be for us, whether that be for anybody that we're doing business with. We're consistently bringing in that data so that we can show our potential clients. So the second point, negotiations. You need to prepare thoroughly. I know that we always say this, do the research, understand the bottom line, the client's needs, and their possible objections to counter offers. You really need to be prepared to address their concerns, address what issues, address their questions, address anything that they might potentially bring to you in that discovery call. And if it's not something that you can necessarily answer, tell them that you will get that answer in the future for them. And when I mean in the future, after you're done with that discovery call, try and see if the person that you know that can answer that question is able to answer it right then and there, so you can send that follow-up email right then and there. You're done with discovery call, you send them the follow-up email with the answer to one of their questions that you were not able to answer in your discovery call. And then guess what? You have that first follow-up email, probably respond to very positively because you're answering a question that they had. You can just keep that momentum. One of the other key things in negotiation is practicing flexibility. You need to be prepared to adjust your approach. You need to be prepared to adjust the proposal. You need to be prepared to constantly be moving, be adjusting, be looking at the next step. Because as you're going through the sales process, we all know for the most part, everything changes somewhere. Something will change here, something will change there, whether that be the decision date, whether that be the product or service that they're looking into, whether that be price point, whatever it might be. You need to understand, you need to learn to be flexible, because in order for you to build that trust, to build that rapport, even if it is something that goes against what you guys are currently selling or the product or service that you were doing, you need to understand their problems, understand the issues that they're bringing to them, and potentially bring them another solution that you may have not pitched them in the past. Negotiation is a game of give and take. You need to find a solution that works for everyone. Use silence strategically. I consistently see sales guys when I'm looking at videos, when I'm looking at their sales process, that they don't use silence to their advantage. You don't need to fill voids with showing up and throwing up. You don't need to then go into something entirely different just because there's a silence there. Use that to your advantage. Let your potential client think. If you're trying to push too much information to them, a lot of the time the silence aspect of it is them thinking about the last thing you said, thinking about maybe a solution that you brought to them that they didn't realize. You need to use those silences to your advantage. Sometimes sitting on there for 10 or 15 seconds silently while your potential client is thinking will benefit you, because they might be thinking of their next question. They might be thinking about how this solution or product can work for them, because you may have brought them a new idea. So use that silence. Don't be afraid of it. Develop those win-win solutions. Negotiating is developing so both parties feel like they're winning. Aim to create scenarios where both parties feel they have gained something of value. If you're working with somebody in specific, and we're sales guys, they always know that as a sales guy, obviously we're trying to sell them so that we make money, but make sure that the thing that you are selling is going to benefit them, because that is one of the big things that people are going to learn about you and trust you for, is because you're selling them a product or a service that will genuinely benefit them. You're not just selling them a product or service to get that commission or to get that paycheck. And sometimes, guys, when you're speaking to somebody, I just had it happen to me today, when we're speaking with a potential client, sometimes they're not a fit. Don't be afraid to tell them, hey, I don't think that my company, my product, my service is going to be the best fit. What problem or solution you guys are specifically looking for? Don't be afraid to say that, because if you are only offering a product or a service that is benefiting every single one of your clients, you have a stronger position to speak with potential clients again in the future. Understanding body language in negotiating is really important. I know a lot of the times we're over Zoom calls, sometimes they don't even have their camera on, but if you try and push for your potential client to have that camera on so that they can see you, you can see them. Really look at their body language. You can really tell if you're going south pretty quickly if you pay attention to their body language. All sales guys, me included, sometimes I don't have the greatest discovery calls at the beginning. Sometimes I'm pitching them something that I may have a miscommunication somewhere, and I'm pitching them something, and I can tell by their body language that they're not necessarily interested in the thing that I'm speaking of. So be sure, again, guys, pay attention to that body language. Make sure that they are actively listening and paying attention to what you have to say, because if they're not, you're just there talking and they're not listening to what you have to say. So third point I'm going to go into is objection handling. All of us as sales guys have dealt with objections in the past. You got to make sure, and you will always deal with them in the future. You need to anticipate common objections. You need to be sure that you know the typical reasons prospects might resist and prepare responses in advance. When you're looking into, someone using your potential product or service, you're going to know based off your industry what their common objections are, whether that be price, whether that be lead time, whatever it might be. You know what those objections are going to be because you are consistently getting them. So you need to be prepared to address them in a similar manner. They might be worded differently. They might have, different cadences that they're going to be asking or telling you these objections. But for the most part, the objections are going to be the same. So you need to have those objection points ready, and you need to have a response ready and tailored towards their specific objection. You can't just have a same response to every single, price objection, every single inventory, every single lead time objection, whatever it might be. You need to be able to customize that objection response to that specific client. You need to clarify misunderstandings. We will always have misunderstandings when we're going through our discovery call phase, whether that be that you misunderstood what the client may have been asking for you, or maybe the client misunderstood one of the services or products that you were relaying to them. You need to ask probing questions to get to the root of that objection. So if you guys are in a misunderstanding, if you guys are not on the same page, take a step back, re-ask questions, maybe ask them in a different tone, a different cadence, because if you guys are on separate pages, the objections are just going to keep coming. Don't let a misunderstanding ruin a positive business relationship. If you guys can't overcome an objection immediately, a follow-up. You need to be in there suggesting a follow-up call, maybe with a higher up, maybe with your sales manager, maybe with, a product engineer, maybe with an engineer, maybe with the CEO, whoever it might be that's next step. If you can't overcome that objection, maybe do a follow-up. Be like, hey, I couldn't answer this objection, or I couldn't, resolve this issue. I think that we can we hop on another call here in a few days, in a week, next week with X, Y, and Z, so I can really get to understand and get to answer that objection and really address that problem that you've brought to me. Okay, the next point I'm going to go to, objection prevention. We just went into talking about what you should be doing with objections. Now we need to go into a skill that a lot of sales guys don't really think that they need to develop, because they think that the most important thing is developing developing the objection skill, you need to prevent those objections in the first place. If you have the same objections that are consistently coming through every discovery call, maybe that's something that you need to address within your company. Whoever is out there with your outbound getting those clients into you, they obviously have that same objection. So you need to answer those quickly. Maybe before you even, if you know that these objections are something that most of your potential clients are going to be asking, going in and addressing those objections as soon as the discovery call comes in. Build that trust early. Say, hey, I know if you know that your price point, for example, is a little bit higher than your competition, you word it that way. Be like, I know that my price point is a little bit higher than my competition when it comes to it, but the services that we have to offer, the products we have to offer, X, Y, and Z, whatever it is that makes you guys the best, bring those to their attention because there is a reason why you're paying more. Set clear expectations. Be transparent about what your product or service can and cannot do to avoid surprises. Again, as a sales guy, we get too into the whole, hey, the next sale, I need for that next commission, I need to meet quota. If your product or service can't achieve something that your potential client is looking to achieve, again, you need to address that. You need to go, hey, maybe we're not the best fit. Then maybe push them off to not necessarily a competitor, someone within the industry that can better suit their solutions. It's a give and take there. If you provide them with a solution that's not necessarily your company or your product, but you provide them with a solution that is building that trust, and they're way more likely because they understand you. If somebody else comes with a problem that they know that you can address, they have a way higher likelihood of recommending you. The last point being relationship building. I know that we are always talking about it. Kyle and I are always talking about it on our videos, that relationship building, especially in the manufacturing and industrial industries, is important. A lot of people are relationship buyers. They're not going to buy from somebody that they don't like. They're not going to buy from somebody that they don't trust. Be consistent and reliable. Focus on that long-term value. Show appreciation. All these things are things that you can do to build that relationship, to really push that sale to the next step, to becoming a client, to pushing it to the proposal phase, whatever it might be. That relationship building is really key, because if they go off and they're using a service, they always have the potential to come back to you, especially if you then offer that product or service that we're looking for. And then network within their circle. Maybe you lost them. Maybe you're a part of an association that a lot of these similar clients or similar potential clients are in. Network in that circle, because even if you've lost them, you can always get them back. We have in our pipeline, we have a close loss win back. Again, guys, great salesmen are made. Your goal should not only to be the best salesman in your company, but to be the best salesman in your industry. Well, guys, I hope you got some good tips, tricks here on how to develop your skills as a sales guy to be that God tier salesman. If you're not following the company page on LinkedIn, follow MFG Tribe on LinkedIn, follow Kyle Milan, our CEO, on LinkedIn, tune into our lives, follow our YouTube. I'll see you guys on the next one.